students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, we will talk about decision making, which is one of the most important soft skill which you all have to get equipped with to get placed in a good professional arena. And this is one of the most important quality which will make you survive. It helps you in making your survival to the best in your professional lives. So, decision making is the ability which will enhance you to take the right decisions at right time, in the right situation, at right place. So, how is that we have to make ourselves equipped with this quality, learn it and also practice it in the way of resolving our problems. So, this decision making, problem solving, all these are the most important qualities as professionals you have to inbuilt within yourselves. So, let us get started. Here, what is decision making? Why is that this quality is very, very important for every individual? We must be able to understand the right time to address the right suggestion. We must be able to acknowledge and understand the situations around us and take the right decision which is rightly applicable to that particular point of time and situation. So, how is that we are going to make the right decision and how is that we are going to make others convinced with our decisions is your ability of decision making. So, let us try to understand what is the criteria and what are the essential elements which you all have to follow in the process of decision making. So, in its simplest sense, decision making is an act of choosing between two or more courses of action. Very, very frequently, we come across two or more solutions for one problem. When there is a problem, we try to resolve it. In the process of resolving the problem, we come across so many solutions. Now, it is on your decision making ability that you're going to choose the right solution for that problem. So, how is that it is going to happen? And what are those essentialities which will make you adopt to select the right decision? So, you must be able to equip yourself with all the weapons of smart thinking and intellectual thinking. You must also adopt the critical thinking and literal thinking process within yourself such that whenever the problem is confronted, you are ready to make the decision which will rightly resolve the problem. So, it may be looking very simple, taking a decision, but taking right decision at right time in the right situation is the most important task which you all have to get practiced with and also get acquainted with for the successful running of your lives. Not only just in terms of your professional lives, but also in terms of your personal lives, decision making will really help you in resolving all your issues and misunderstandings with the people around you. In the wider process of problem solving, so, in the process of problem solving, you must be equipped with the element of decision making. In the process of problem solving, it is the stage to make the decision of choosing the right solution. So, if you are unable to make a right solution in the way of making good decision, you will be a failure at that instant of time. So, in the wider range, in the wider process, you must equip yourself with this decision making process to cater the needs of the problem solving solutions. Here, involves choosing between possible solutions to a problem. We will have n number of solutions, but depend on the awareness of the environment around us, depend upon the criteria which will really suit in analyzing, interpreting and evaluating that particular problem. You must try to have that decision making ability to make the solution to the problem which has been aroused. Decisions can be made through either intuitive or reasoned process or the combination of two. Now, intuitive, that is that which make you feel sensible that whatever you have taken the decision is going to be right. That is self-check. Self-evaluation can be done. You are intuitively thinking about the pros and the cons of that problem and trying to make or resolve the issue from all the notions and all the elements around you, thinking that you are not causing any problem to others with this solution. You are resolving your issue. So, intuitively, intellectually, smartly, you are thinking over the solutions to resolve your problems. And reasoned process. What is this reasoning? You must be able to reason out the decision of what you have taken. That is, when you have chosen a solution for a problem, you must be able to reason out why this solution is rightly suits to solve this problem. Now, how is that? This solution is going to make my problem solved. What are the reasons which will really make me to decode this process to resolve that issue? So, decision making is the most important ability which will withstand with you and also make you stand in a very good position while taking good decisions at right time. Now, intuition. What is this intuition? Let us try to understand its definition and also its process in the way of your decision making. Intuition is using your gut feeling about impossible courses of action. That is, what you innerly feel about that solution. It is your confidence over your feeling. When you have confronted with a problem, you have thought over a solution. But before you apply that solution, your intuitive feeling will say something whether to apply it or not. You must be able to reason out the intuitive feeling which is within you. So, such that you can apply that solution and resolve it. That is your gut feeling. Your confidence which is equipped around that solution to resolve that problem is your gut feeling. That is your intuition, that which will talk. It may be your ego, it may be your own inner feeling which will make you feel confident about resolving that problem with the solution which you have thought about. Although people talk about it as if it was a magical sense. They say, no, my inner feeling said that. I believe in that. I have intuition about that problem. I have intuition about this feeling. People generally say they feel it as a magical feeling or some sixth sense like that. But it is not that. It is what is your confidence over something. When you are feeling confident enough while making a choice, that means your intuitive levels are agreeing with what you are trying to do and they are accepting your decision at that point of time. So, intuition is the most important essential element in the process of your decision making. So, before you make decisions, try to evaluate your intuitive feeling. What is it saying? Is it agreed to that solution which you are trying to resolve a problem with? If not, why? Try to reason out that particular situation. It is worth taking your intuition into account. It is always worth. It is not just you are taking the advice of others. It must be your self-evaluation too, which will help you to make the right decisions. Because it reflects your learning about life. It depends on the experiences which you have gone through, the awareness which you have created within you. So, whatever solutions which you think for resolving a problem maybe are running around that environment which you have awareness about, where you are confident enough to crack that problem. So try to equip yourself with this intuitive feelings and try to take the suggestion of your intuitive feeling while putting forward a solution for a problem. Then it is, however, not always based on reality, only your perceptions. I repeat, it is not always based on the reality, only your perception. That is your guess, your assumption about the problem solving. That is, if I do this, if I am implementing this, if I am doing this or adapting this process, I may be getting this. I may be resolving it. That is, intuitively, when you have self-evaluated your feelings, it is giving out a solution which will say that this problem will be solved in this process such that you will be advantageous in this point of time. So, like that, it is not the reality. It is your preoccupation or your perception of resolving the issue then and there, many of which may have started in your childhood and may not be very mature as a result. Since your childhood, you may be doing it, but you may not be matured enough to identify it, isn't it? When your father brings 2 chocolates, how is that you're going to make a decision? You don't really know the taste of both the chocolates, isn't it? But how is that you're choosing? Maybe your perception about the color of the chocolate cover or the smell, the tinge which you have gained from that chocolate may have made you take the decision one among the 2. So that is your perception. Your intuitive feeling said that the chocolate which is wrapped in the blue color is more tastier than the orange color. That is your perception. That is not reality. But you still has followed what has intuitively told to you and you have selected the one which your inner feeling has directed you to do. That is your perception. It is therefore worth examining your feeling closely, especially if you have a very strong feeling against a particular course of action, to see if you can work out why and whether it is justified. So, always remember, whenever you are taking up a project or a research work or writing up an article, you must be able to put forward your own feelings. Don't draw a box of imitation or copying something. Put forward your own feelings and thought process such that it will simultaneously bring out what you are willing to do and how you are willing to do. Why? Why this solution to this? Why is it I'm adopting it? What is the reason behind it which my feeling is directing towards? You must be able to catch up with all these kinds of notions in the way of taking your decision. Next, reasoning. Here we spoke about our intuition, the inner gut feeling which will help us in taking the right decision. Now reasoning. What is this reasoning? Giving out more questions such that you can answer them in the process of resolving the problem. Now, reasoning is using the facts and figures in front of you to make decisions. That is, those are the essentialities which will put forward in front of you the facts and the figures which will bring out the reason for the solution to clear that particular problem at that particular time. So, you must be able to reason out. Try to question yourself. Why, what, where, how, when. All these things, if you could answer in making the decision, you will surely try to build up a good solution for it. Reasoning has its roots in the here and now and in facts. Now, whenever you do or take up a problem, you must be trying to resolve what are the elements within it. Before that, you will try to identify the problem. In the process of identification of the problem, you will be able to understand why this problem has been aroused. You must be able to define problem, how it occurred, why it occurred, when it occurred, and why does that happen to it only. So you must be able to reason out the different perspectives which have caused or given rise to that particular problem. And then when you are choosing the decision, you must be able to reason out why you are choosing that decision. Will this decision of mine will really resolve the problem? If yes, then how it is going to resolve the problems? What are the elements or the criteria which I have to follow in the way of resolving that issue? So you must be able to reason out all these terms, all these issues around you to make yourself equipped and train yourself in those perspectives which will resolve the problems around you. It can, however, ignore emotional aspects to the decision, and in particular, issues from the past that may affect the way that the decision is implemented. Now, before you take a decision, you can go back. You can brainstorm yourself. Try to understand. Try to refresh yourself with all those brainstorming ability. How is that you're going to do? If in the past someone would have confronted with the same problem, what did they do? Was the solution which was taken by them really became worthwhile in resolving the problem? So you must be able to brainstorm yourself in the way of resolving the issues while taking the decision, while taking the right step in making the decision. You must be able to analyze the events which have happened past, and you must be able to look forward into the future, whether this will work out to me or not in the way of the resolving the problem. Now, intuition is a perfectly acceptable means of decision, although it is generally more appropriate when the decision is so simple nature or needs to be made quickly. Here, remember, intuition will surely, maybe for me it is like 70 to 80% always comes true, because it is building up your confidence while you are putting it in or implementing it. When you can confidently implement a solution, that means you have trust, you have belief over it to implement it, and you are trusting to resolve that issue at that time. So intuition is one of the best policy how you're going to resolve your issues. First self-check, first self-evaluate yourself in the way of making the decisions happen and resolve the problems. More complicated decisions tend to require a formal, structured approach, usually involving both intuition and reasoning. Now, we are not saying that all the decisions are simple. There are many issues, there are many concerns which are very complex. So, in that instance of time, you can try to take the help of both the intuition and the reasoning in the way of resolving that issue. But there, in the process of complex resolving, your approach must be formal, structured approach. That is logical sequencing of the steps which you are going to carry, and how the approach must be built up in the way to resolve the issue in a very smooth and pleasant way. So you have to remember and have awareness over all these aspects around you. It is important to be wary of impulsive reactions to a situation. So always don't try to tend yourself. Move towards those impulsive behaviors. Try to overcome them. Try to understand the relevance. Try to put forward a structural approach in the formatting and selecting your decision for resolving a issue. Here, applying both reasoning and intuition. How is that can happen? One way to do this is to apply the two aspects in turn. It's useful to start with reason and gather facts and figure. So when you thought of using both the intuition and as well as reasoning, then first you can take up the reasoning ability, gather all the facts and figures to resolve the problem which are suited for resolving the problem at that particular time. First, reason out the issues of facts and figures related to that particular problem. Then, once you have an obvious decision, it's the turn of intuitions. How do you feel about the answer? With the reasoning, you will be able to conclude yourself with a solution. Once the solution is framed, now the time is for your intuition. What is that your intuition is telling you? Will that solution is going to work out for you? Or it is hinting towards that you can go for more better options in resolving. So check. What is your intuition saying? Is that intuition giving you and building you the confidence of put forward the solution? Or it is stinging you or pinching you towards selecting some other solution? So you must be very smart enough in the way of understanding, acknowledging and then analyzing your solution factors in the way of taking the right decision. If not, have another look and see if you can work out why not. If you are not emotionally committed to the decision you have made, you won't implement it well or effectively. If you are not sure of the solution what you have taken, if your intuition is saying that it is not going to work out, please look for some other alternative solution. Then take a step back, because without your consent, without your self-consent, you will not be able to apply that solution effectively. So, when your intuition is saying that do not take it, try to look forward for some more solutions. That means you have to take a while, think over it and revise your solution to resolve the issues which has gone confronted in front of you. Now, effective decision making. What is the process of effective decision making? Decisions need to be capable of being implemented. If the decisions are not capable to be implemented, then what is the use? So, see that your decisions must be implemented, whether on personal or organization levels. See that whatever decisions you take, they are worthwhile and you are going to communicate with the other officials such that they are implemented. So, your reasoning and intuition must be such powerful that your decisions will look more applicable to resolve that issue, and it will make you stand unique and also professional in your workspace. You do, therefore, need to be committed to the decision personally and be able to persuade others of its merits. When you are not confident enough of implementing your decision, how is that you are going to persuade others? So, whatever decisions you take, see that you have that gut feeling, you have that confidence over putting forward that decision such that you can persuade your team members to apply it to resolve that issue. An effective decision making process, therefore, needs to ensure that you are able to do so. You are ready to implement it. You have made all the reasoning to resolve the issue and put forward a solution. You have looked for all the ways such that you have got with one solution. So, see that all the relevant homework has been done to prepare this solution for that particular problem. So, your solution must for sure make you confident enough to resolve that issue and to persuade it to other team members to implement it for the successful problem solving ability of the concerned issues. Then, What can prevent effective decision making? What are those elements or what are those barriers which are in your way while taking your decision making? There are a number of problems that can prevent effective decision making. This include: 1. Not enough information. Why you cannot take effective decision is, first, you do not have accurate or authentic or enough information to jot down the different or the n number of solutions to that problem. You do not have those facts and figures which can be the evidence in making your solution very accurate. So, not having proper information also can make you not to take the effective decisions. If you do not have enough information, it can feel like you are making a decision without any basis. That is, a decision making must be done on the basis of the facts and the figures. If you are taking any decision without this, that means it has become baseless. There is no base or no strength to your decision. Take some time to gather the necessary data to inform your decision. Even if the time scale is very tight, whatever it may be, whatever the time limit is given to you, you must make the solution with appropriate and accurate facts and figures, such that your implementation of resolving the issue will be qualitative and also it is evidential. So remember that whenever you take decisions, see that you gather all those facts and figures which will stand as a base for your decision making. Next comes, if necessary, prioritize your information gathering by identifying which information will be most important to you. And in the process of gathering the information, you may come across so much information. Some are relevant and some are irrelevant. So you must be able to take down the relevant examples and the facts rather than the irrelevant. So think smart, work smart in the way of taking the right data which will become a base for your solution. Too much information. Not having information and having too much of information will also cause you not to take the effective decisions. That is the opposite problem, but one that is seen surprisingly often, having so much conflicting information that is impossible to see the wood for the trees. That is, you are having so much of information regarding one element. Now, you have to reason out step by step logically to segregate that improper or unworthy information which is related to it. If there is too much of information and you are with that too much of information, you will not be able to see the right point. You may be ignoring the key issues or key concerns which are intriguingly hidden in them. So try to sort out that unusual and irrelevant facts and the data such that you can pick up those crucial points in the evaluation of your problem. This is sometimes called analysis paralysis. What is this called? Analysis paralysis. That means that which is stuck with lot of information. You are unable to segregate the information and jot down or grasp the right information from the note or the facts which are projected in front of you. And is also used a tactic to delay organizational decision making. Sometimes people may use it as tactful way to delay the decision making process in the organizations. So you must be very, very careful enough in identifying such things, and you must be very smart enough and intellectual to jot down all these issues around you and create a solution for your problem. Next, this problem can often be resolved by getting everyone together to decide what information is really important and why, and by setting a clear time scale for decision making, including an information gathering stage. So at this point of time, you can adopt the technique of gathering all your team members. Sit, sort out whether which information is really applicable and accurate to you. Sort out, sit, discuss and try to segregate the information which is really applicable and accurate towards resolving your problem. In such way, you can resolve the issue, take the right facts and the right figures from that concerned data to resolve the problem which has been aroused there. Too many people. Again, we have already spoken that we will sit with a group of people and sort it out. But again, the involvement of too many people will also create the confusion in taking the decision. That is, making decisions by committee is difficult. There are so many professionals, scholars in your team. Is it easy to take the right decision within the time? Very difficult, because everyone has their own perception. Everyone has their own level of thinking and thought process. Now, how is that you are going to manage and balance all the thought process of the people and bring them onto the common ground? It is again a big task. So you must be very careful while taking the decisions. If the involvement of too many people are there in one project, see that it must be segregated or lessened such that your work will be easier. Everyone has their own views and their own ideas, and while it's important to know what these views are and why and how they are important, it may be essential for one person to take responsibility for making a decision. Now, if no one is coming onto the common platform, we can give responsibility to one person in selecting the solution, because if it is given to all the members, too many people, then the judgment will be difficult. So, assigning the responsibility to one individual or two may be helpful in the way of taking your decision. Sometimes any decision is better than none, isn't it? Why? This one person may take some decision at least, rather than having no decisions. So, involving too many people in the decision making is also a problem. Then vested interests, that is, too many interests in one project. I am a person who is interested in one thing and there is other person who is interested. So vested interest, that means many interests. Now I will put forward my solution which will lead to my interest. Other person will put forward his view such that it will lead to his interest. Now how is that we are going to segregate these interests in that process of making the decision? Decision making process often founded under the weight vested interest. That is, it is under the vested interest. Whenever we think about it, whenever we sought to resolve something, we have our own interest. Based on our own interest, we try to resolve it. Now, how will that happen in a team? How is that? Is that easy? How is that I am going to segregate this interest and bring the common interest of the people together in taking the decision is very, very important. These vested interests are often not overtly expressed, but may be a crucial blockage. So, here, maybe not everyone will express their interest, but it will be a blockage of making them not giving consent to your decision. If I am having another interest and my colleague or my co-worker is suggesting me some decision which is of his interest, how will I agree that? Of course, I will not put forward my interest, but still I will not give consent to the solution which is really proving towards the interest of the others. So all these things will be in the process of your decision making. So wisely, smartly, you must be able to segregate all these issues to make effective decision making possible. It can also help to explore rational, intuitive aspects with all stakeholders. So you can put them onto common platform, try to ask them for their intuitive levels, think reasoning, give reasoning towards all the points which are really worthwhile in resolving the issue and take a decision. Then emotional attachment. This is one of the most important setback or the barrier in the way of making your effective decision making. Once you are emotionally attached to something, you will not be able to take the right decision because your views or your thoughts or your interest will be tending towards your emotional bondage. Now, how is that you're going to balance with your emotional intelligence with your professional intelligence? So, you must be able to replicate and you must be able to balance these two strings together to take wise and apt and accurate decision. People are often very attached to status quo. Decisions need to involve the prospect of change, which many people find difficult. So, you must move over those barriers of status quo. You must be able to adapt, equip, and give respect to the other's decision too. And many of them will not accept it. So, how is that you are going to handle such kind of situations is very, very important. For more about overcoming this, see, all remember, deciding not to decide is also a decision. Sometimes we can just leave it open to everyone to resolve it. Try to make them create those barriers which will make them stand unique and come out of that emotional attachment. And one more key barrier is no emotional attachment. Having more emotional attachment and having not emotional attachment is also one of the barrier. We must be emotionally attached to the organization. We must be always aware of all the rules and regulations of our organization to make the successful growth of our organization. For that, we have to emotionally attach to our work in the organization, professional arena in the organization. For that, we have to leave the emotional bondages of our personal instincts, but we have to encourage and try to mold and build that balance between our emotional attachment, which is personal, but rather we can have and get attached to the emotional attachment towards our professional arenas. Sometimes it is difficult to make a decision because you just do not care about anyone. Just not thinking about anyone's inconvenience or anyone's decision or anyone's will or wish, we take the decisions. Now again, that is also a problem. So you must think over all these strings while you are making the decision. Many of these issues can overcome by using a structural decision making process. That is, make the right structure of your decision making. Use the reasoning format. Try to use the intuitive format. Try to make right emotional bondages in the way you are trying to sort out. Make the people sit together and try to jot down. Don't involve many people. Try to segregate it on the importance of the decision which has to be related to the people. This will help to reduce more complicated decisions down to simpler steps. See how any decisions are arrived at and plan decision making to meet deadlines. Try to make your decision meet the deadline. You are not moving forward to surpass that deadline. Try to resolve the issues within the deadlines which are assigned to you. Many difficult techniques of decision making have been developed, ranging from simple rules of thumb, extremely complex procedures. From the extremely complex procedures, you will be able to identify the right way of making your procedure. Try to sort out, segregate, analyze, interpret, evaluate, and then take the right decision. And after taking the right decision, you must look back for the feedback, which will really help you in not making the same mistakes the next time. Here, decision making has its own systematic process and its own clearly defined elements. The sequence of the steps involved, classifying the problem. Now, the very first element in your decision making is first classify the element. How is that you're going to classify the elements? With the terms of this questioning format. And what is that questioning? Is this problem generic? Is it generic? Or is it exceptional and unique? Or is it first manifestation of new genus for which a rule yet to be developed? So you will be classifying the problem. Is it important or not? How did it get aroused? Is it exceptional or is it generic? Is it common? On all grounds, you will try to classify the problem. And the second step is defining the problem. Define what was that dealing with this problem. How is that this problem has got aroused. Then specifying the answer to the problem. Then you specify, try to reason out for a solution, answer for the problem. Then deciding what is right rather than what is acceptable in order to meet the boundary conditions. That is, you must be able to take the right decision, but not just based on what is acceptable. One thing is acceptable to one person, but it may not be acceptable to other person. So you must be able to take the right decision, the right choice in the way of your problem solving issues. What will fully satisfy the specifications before attention is given to the compromises, adaptations and concessions needed to make the decision acceptable. See the majority, the percentage level of the acceptance of your solutions. Don't go with the interest of one or two. Try to take the right decision. Here, when you are making your decisions, you may have the flow chart here. Just have a look. You may have alternatives, you may have uncertainty, and you may have high risk consequences while taking your decisions, and also interpersonal issues and the complexities. You must be able to resolve the decision, take the decision from all the grounds of these levels. Then building into decision the action to carry out. Then after taking the decision, you have to build the decision or polish the decision or prepare the decision in the way to carry out the process to resolve the problem. So you have to create a pace, a path of action to your solution. Then testify the validity and effectiveness of the decision. You must be able to understand how valid your decision is and how effectively it is working. That is, take the feedback, look back and see how the events have been turned up, whether they have turned into the positive note or into the negative note. So, understand the effectiveness and the validity of your solutions. Don't just take this, give the solution and move out from there. Try to revert back the feedback on your decision. How is the decision being carried out? Are the assumptions on which it is based are appropriate or absolute? Whether you have taken the right decision or not, you must be able to understand them. Now, the 7 steps to effective decision making are: first, identify the decision, gather information, identify alternatives of the solutions to the problem, weigh the evidence, evaluate. What is that? Weigh the evidence is evaluate the evidence such that it can be a good solution to your problem. Then choose among different solutions, then take actions, review your decisions. These are the 7 steps which will really surely help you in the way of solving your problems effectively. So, try to utilize and understand the right process of decision making and resolve all your issues in your professional lives such that you can have good success in your workplaces. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.